spiritual crisis happened. And we literally tore the heart out of Western culture and cut the head off. And we went from a place where, you know, people had worked out that the planet was a sphere and calculated its circumference to within 1 degree of accuracy. That's incredible, isn't it? To a place where you could be put to death for saying that it wasn't flat. I mean, you know, that's one example, but it captures it, doesn't it? That's what happened. When Christianity triumphed, literalist Christianity triumphed, we did not get a golden age. It didn't even save the empire. The whole of the Western culture collapsed under the weight of this dogma. And what's happening now, it seems to me, is that we're emerging from that very much. Still a long way to go, but we're coming out of that. And that's what intrigues me, because this time 2,000 years ago seems very similar to now. And these Gnostics, who I want to talk to you about, seem very similar to, well, us. Because what they did was that they took an eclectic approach to the spirituality and the cultures around them. They were synthesizing different elements. In particular, they took their own Jewish mystical tradition, the mysteries of Moses, and combined them with the pagan mysteries. There was a group outside Alexandria in Egypt. Alexandria is like is the kind of New York of the ancient world. Everybody's there. It's the hub of the ancient world. Massive library, huge, you know, it's in Egypt. You know, it's amazing culture. They speak Greek. The Greek, like English today, is spoken throughout the whole of the Mediterranean, so everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's got a language they can communicate in. There's huge trade and connection going on with the East, just like today. Here's a little fact for you. I love Basilides, who is a 1st century Gnostic Christian, wrote a 15-volume work on Hinduism. Get your head around that. We don't have it, it was burnt. Wouldn't you love to read it? Isn't it incredible? Outside Alexandria, there's a Buddhist ashram. There's also a group called the Therapeutai, who are Jews practicing the mysteries of Moses, but they're also renowned Pythagoreans. They're pagan Jews. It's like today. It's like today. What's happening is that people are drawing on all these different traditions and going, what's it really about? At this time, all these different elements are meeting, particularly in Alexandria, I think. 25% of the population's Jewish, but they all speak Greek. The reason that the Old Testament, as we call it, is translated into Greek is so Jews can read it. Because they can't read it otherwise, because they all speak Greek. So you've got a cosmopolitan culture with a common language and the wisdom of the world, as it was then, suddenly available. And Gnostics are doing what Gnostics always do, which is that they're synthesizing and bringing out the common essence. And this is the other thing which defines Gnostics, and the thing I want to focus on for the rest of this evening, which is this. For Gnostics, it's about experience. It's not about dogmas. It's not about tradition. In fact, a lot of them were renowned for just, you know, doing everything in their power to undermine tradition. Well, look at Jesus, for God's sake. Jesus is the great Gnostic hero. He is their superhero. He is their mouthpiece. And he's put to death by the traditionalists. He breaks the rules. He heals on the Sabbath. He takes the whole of the Jewish tradition of 101, do this, don't do that, you know, don't keep your hair here, and don't do this, and cut the end of your off, and all of that, and he says, look, there's 2 commandments. 2. Oh, and the second one is pretty much like the first one. and his commandments are just love, aren't they? His 2 commandments are love God and love each other as yourself. I'll come to what those actually mean. That's it. That's the Gnostic perspective. They've cut all that away, and they've come down to an experience. And their name for the experience, which gives them the name of Gnostics, is Gnosis, which is Greek, because they're speaking Greek and they're writing in Greek. All the whole of Christian, every single Christian text is in Greek. Just so you know, it's a Greek phenomenon. Gnosis means knowledge, but I think a better translation is knowing. Gnosis is knowing, and it's self-knowledge, or it's knowing what you really are. Now, I'm sure you've had the whole "have you heard the good news?" kind of evangelical thing. And the good news for modern evangelicals is the Bible, right? That's the good news. And the word gospel means good news. That's the good news, the gospel, in there, that story. And if you believe the story, that's the good news. For the original Christians, for the people who invented that story, for the Gnostics, for the people who took this ancient tradition and reinvented it and made it what it's become, the good news was not the story. The good news was not the texts. The good news has nothing to do with the New Testament. The gospel, and they say this quite explicitly, the gospel is the gnosis. The good news is the possibility of self-knowledge. That's